Alright, cool beans. Hope you guys did enjoy that small montage. I'm Hex. We're finally going to be going over the BATTLEMAGE Sorc. And I'm just going to say that right now. This is my most favorite build in the entire game. Hands down, doesn't compete. I'm not saying that to be like, no, I'd say every build. No, this is hands down my most favorite build. Especially with the Torc. The Torc of the Last Ayleid King. That's my go-to build. I will never, that's probably going to be my first 5 stars. This is MagSorc with the BATTLEMAGE Sorc. Like, it's beyond crazy. And what do I mean by BATTLEMAGE Sorc? Sorry, I'm getting lost with words because I just love this build so much. Basically, where you invest all your points into magic, but you use stam damaging abilities. You might be saying, whoa, Hex, that sounds like witchcraft and blasphemy. But with the way hybridization works, it's possible, yes. So we use Wrecking Blow with Executioner, but we put all our points into max mag. We have higher spell crit, but we still scale our damaging abilities. So for those who don't know, even though Wrecking Blow costs stamina and does physical damage, it will pull whatever is higher. So it will pull, so look at max stam and max mag and be like, okay, max mag, we're gonna use that, boom. And for whatever reason, let's say we have a DK in our group and our weapon damage goes higher, it'll be like, okay, max mag, it will still use our weapon damage and use it with max mag. And then our spell crit is typically higher, so it'll use max mag, weapon damage, and then spell crit. So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as whatever's higher, it gets used up. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to follow the line. And you hit extremely hard because of this patch. I don't know whose idea was it, but Sorcs get a heal with Hardened Ward if they don't have a pet active, which is honestly one of the craziest things I've ever heard. Not only do we have 15k shields on this, we can crit heal for like 10k on this build. But for those wondering how to set up this build, stick around to the end. I'll show you exactly how. But before we get started, hit the like, subscribe button. It really goes a long way. Really do appreciate it. Also, for those that don't know, I have been streaming quite a lot more on Twitch. Yes, we back on the Twitch grind. And honestly, that's where all this gameplay is from my Twitch. So if you guys have any questions or any, thoughts on builds or you just want to talk to me, come join me over there. I have a blast with you guys. I do a lot of giveaways, just chat with you guys, theorycraft, answer many questions. I try in the comments, but just like trying to figure out how to word something, not confusing the comments, kind of lose track of time with that. But yeah, you can always comment, but if you really do want your questions answered, hop over to my Twitch. I'll happily answer over there. Support me on the memberships. We are starting that up. We will have a few things right now. We'll probably do, or you guys can vote for the first video of every month. Also, prior to respawn. We'll figure that out as we go. But without further ado, let's battle major our way into the build. So for the front bar, we do run Hardened Ward. Hardened Ward is probably one of the most broken skills in the entire game right now, and is what's literally shooting Sorc to the top. Not only do you get a big shield, basically like a 15k shield in PvP, you also heal for 15% of your max mag. So the higher our max mag, the more we heal, plus this thing can crit. So you get a 15k shield, plus you can get like a 10k crit heal by a keep. It's crazy. When you get pressured or anything, you can literally just stand there and pop wards, 15k health on a shield, look at 12.1k, like, it's beyond crazy. So 20k shield is basically our cap. In PvP with death dealers, will probably be at 15.6, 15, you probably won't break at 16k too much. But yeah, just so you know, that's basically our cap. The reason is 72% of our max health. Next skill is Streak. Obviously, when you think of Sorc, you think of Streak. Instantly teleport to a location, dealing some damage, and stunning the target, which I don't understand why. It's unblockable and undodgeable. I don't know why, but it's there. It's probably one of the strongest CCs in the game because it lasts for 3 seconds. I keep saying this in every Sorc video, but I remember when this thing used to last like a 1 second stun. Before I would just eat the stun. I wouldn't even CC break it. By the time I CC broke it, I was already out of the stun anyway, so now you have to break it. It's so annoying when you're getting Zerged over by so many people. So obviously, just don't cast it multiple times, because if you cast it within 4 seconds of each other, it does cost more, kind of like roll dodge. But this is your get out of, this is your get out of jail free card. Set up the stun. Some people do run on the back bar, so I will show you different setups throughout here. But I run on the front bar with my build. I really did enjoy it. Don't run Ball of Lightning, because Ball of Lightning is actually bugged this patch, and I think it might be bugged in Gold Road as well. So basically, the Ball of Lightning counts as a pet. So if you have a pet active, your shield will not heal you, and you also don't proc 10% mag and stamina when you have a Ball of Lightning up. It's a bug, but just letting you know, Ball of Lightning is not the way. Next skill, we do run Executioner. Whoa, Hex! Executioner on a Sorc? What are you running here? Yes, this is why it's called the BATTLEMAGE Sorc. We run a 2H, we use 2H abilities, and we absolutely slap. As of right now, Executioner, this is basically our execute. When they're below half health, we do more damage based on their missing health. I think that like the key number is like 30%, like around 30% health. That's when you start spamming executes. And they did a little change. So if those that don't know, they actually converted this to bleed damage. Before we used to do physical damage, and as a sorcerer, we used to do 5% more damage with physical attacks. So it was a small nerf to Sorc, I guess, but this skill already hits hard enough. And it can proc hemorrhaging, which is a dot. So I mean, it's whatever. Don't run the other morph. I did the math. Even with the 5% base damage, the other morph does not do enough damage. Just stick with the execution. It's really freaking hard. Next skill is Crystal Frags. And Crystal Frags, I'm saying, Hex, what are you doing here? Executioner Frags uppercut with a shield? What is this witchcraft? This is the BattleMage Sorc, baby. So for those that don't know, this is basically our frag. So you can cast this ability, you hard cast it. Basically, when you go through the animation and you shoot out the frag. That is not what you want to do. You actually want to proc a frag. For those that don't know, anytime you use any ability that isn't an ultimate, so now if you use a magic ability like a ward, or use an uppercut or an executioner, you can actually proc a frag. And I'm pretty sure even what's that one skill? Equilibrium that costs health. I think that would also count as this too. So you can actually proc a frag with the stam abilities. So like you can literally be going for a wrecking blow, and before your wrecking blow even hits, you already proc a frag. So you already know wrecking blow, Dawnbreaker, frag. Everything hits at once. Good night. If they're lucky enough, maybe you follow up with an execution if they don't get bursted by that combo. You only ever want to use the skill when it's a proc frag. Obviously, if you're from range, you can just be spamming this ability. That's fine. But when you're actually up close and personal, you just basically just want to use a frag proc. Use a wrecking blow, frag, wrecking blow. You know, keep wrecking blow until you proc a frag. It just keeps the pressure going. And then when you see them drop below health, that's the whole point. Is that it does more damage when you proc a frag, and it just keeps the pressure going, basically. The next skill is Wrecking Blow, and oh my regime, do you hit hard with this ability. 13k might not seem like much, but this is before a Death Dealer's proc and before we get major Berserk. So I do run Wrecking Blow on my build because I have Streak on my front bar. That's what I use for my stun, and Wrecking Blow makes you hit so unbelievably hard. You get major Berserk for 3 seconds, so you can follow up with the major, so you can follow up the Wrecking Blow into a Dawnbreaker, into a frag, and it just hits absolutely freaking hard. You could go D-Swing. D-Swing is a very popular choice. That's typically if you run Streak on the back bar, because when you have Streak on the back bar, it's a little wonky to try to use it as a CC. But since I run a different setup, this is what I run. Since I can run tripods with this build, I use Streak on my front bar, easy to set up. That's personally my preference. You could go D-Swing if you put Streak on the back bar. But if you have Streak on the front bar, just go Wrecking Blow, man. Like, this thing hits really freaking hard. And next skill we do run is Dawnbreaker of Smiting. Yes, this is what you want to be running. Oh, we gotta pop a minor Berserk, because I don't know why Sorc get minor Berserk too. Yeah, 19k Dawnbreaker before our Death Dealer's proc and before major Berserk. So yeah, at 19.2k Donnie, that stuns the target for 2 seconds. And if they're able to tell the tail of the Dawnbreaker, well, that dot's for sure gonna put them down. Over 22k dot unbuffed, fully unbuffed. Like, this thing hits unbelievably hard. And for those that don't know, you actually do 10% bonus damage to vampires, which everyone should be. And you can't mitigate the block. You can't block dot damage. So it just hits really freaking hard. It keeps people low health when you're going for a combo. Man, I've caused so many people mid-roll dodge with this ability. It's crazy. So yeah, just put Dawnbreaker Smiting. It just works well. You may be thinking, why not Shooting Star? It's because you're up close and personal. By the time you use the Shooting Star, it's just a little wonky. Dawnbreaker, hard-hitting ultimate, stuns them, sets them up for the combo. So for our back bar, we do run Bound Aegis. This skill is beyond crack. So let's go over the main skill. So if you cast the skill, you do get some block mitigation. I think block cost reduction. No, it's just mitigation actually. So you never actually cast the skill. I mean, you can. It can save your life one day, but never use. It's used for the second paragraph. Those beautiful passes. Wall slotted on either bar. Gotta love that. Your max mag is increased by 8%. You also get minor resolve and minor protection. Almost 3k armor, 5% damage mitigation, and 8% mag on one skill that you can also cast for an ability as well. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, this skill makes you super tanky. Next skill is Hurricane. So might be saying Hurricane over Boundless Storm. Personally, you could go either morph. I personally would probably go Hurricane because it's just permanent minor expedition. Basically, you should always have your armor buff at all times. So basically, you have almost 100% uptime on this armor buff. So what's the skill? Basically, armor buff, almost 6k armor. This also does dot damage. The thing is, the longer the armor buff has been going, like off the initial cast, the more damage it does. And this thing can actually hit pretty hard, dude. Like, so that's why I like Hurricane. You could go the other morph, be easier on the sustain, be easier, but like, honestly, Hurricane, just a minor expedition is the reason you want to go Hurricane. Plus, it hits really hard. Next skill is Crit Surge. This is basically how we get our 20% weapon and spell damage on the build. And what I really like about this, anytime we deal critical damage, whether that be a dot, whether that be a direct damage, AoE, it doesn't matter. If we crit with an ability, a damage ability, we heal for 3366. And that heal can crit. So basically, we can heal every second. So this is really nice when we're getting pressured. We can pop a ward. We have ESOs on them. We have dots on them. Keep going. Hurricane keeps proccing. We're just topped off at that point. And lets you go super offensive. Plus with Crit Surge, I'm able to run tripods on the build. So I just have everything good to go. If I get caught, I have a tripod, I'm out. Next skill is Dark Conversion. Now you could go either morph. Either morph is perfectly fine. I know a lot of people will go the Dark Deal, the one that converts magic into stamina and then use the magic of potions with crit and spell damage. I like Dark Conversion because I don't have to cast it as often. Cast it once every 20 seconds and I keep that minor berserk up basically indefinitely. Plus it gives you a bigger heal, gives you more resources in general. So that's personally why I go it. Since I run tripods in the build and I have an absorb stamina enchant on the front bar, I have many sources of getting stamina. I can also heavy attack as well. So either one is fine. Dark Deal would make you do more damage, but it only lasts 10 seconds, which I really don't like. But personally, that's what I like about builds. You fit to your playstyle. If you want to do more damage, Dark Deal will obviously do the most damage. I just like Dark Conversion because I don't have to cast it as often. Next skill is Elemental Susceptibility, or most commonly referred to as Elisus. It blows my mind that this skill still has not received a nerf. This ability is free, by the way. This is one of the longest range abilities in the game. It's completely free. You basically put Major Breach on the target, almost 6k armor shred, and you put Burning, Chilled, and Concuss initially, so as soon as you use the ability, and every 7.5 seconds after. And for those that don't know, anytime you put Chilled on a target with an Ice Staff equip, which we do have, we also put Minor Brittle on them. So they get Burning, a dot, Chilled, Minor Maim, initial damage, Concussion, Minor Vuln, and initial damage. And for those that don't know, Chilled and Concuss and all the status effects that are on dots basically got double damage on this patch. They hit really hard. Like, it's just a crack skill. Like, they really need to add this thing needs to cost like 2k mag. Like, honestly, in my opinion, like, it needs to cost something. It's just ridiculous how easy it is to set. And the last 30 seconds, like, my gosh. And my backbar ultimate, I do run Energy Overload. I just love this ability. It's just my get out of jail kind of like, it's not a get out of jail free card, but this is like my, oh, I need stamina, I need resources. Cast Overload, start weaving them away. And it honestly hits really hard. I like it that I can just like pop this ability and hit extremely hard. Also get mag and stand back. I know a lot of people do like to run Barrier back here. Basically a defensive ultimate, but mainly there just for the Magicka 8, 10% more mag recov. You could go almost any ultimate in the back bar. You could go Shooting Star if you want. You really don't need Psijic ulti on the back bar, since Psijic ulti would already give you minor protection, and you already get that from your bound Aegis. So you don't really need it. I mean, unless you really wanted to do like, you know, you streak off a building, TP back up. That's the only reason you want to run it. Other than that, you don't really need it. So you can honestly put whatever you want back there. It's personally up to you. This is the traditional one that most people would run. So let me show you real quick. With Inner Light front bar. So they would put Streak on the back bar, put Inner Light on the front bar, and then they would not have Crit Surge on their build. So let's figure out Streak can go here, and then Hurricane can go here. And then basically, this is what they would run. They would run Dizzy Swing, the other morph. Basically puts off balance, kind of like their setup stun. And they would also run the other morph of Dark Conversion. They would use Dark Deal. I personally don't like this because now you are crippled to these pots. You have to run spell pots. Spell damage pots. Like, I don't like that. I like my setup better because I'm able to run tripods on my build. So that's pretty much the setups. Personally up to you, however you want to run it. This is basically my setup. I highly recommend this. Easier on the sustain. Just, you know, tripods easy to get a hold of, especially with the crown tripods. Alright, but enough. Let's go over the stat sheets. So our max stats fully proc. Max mag over 53.2k, max health over 31.5k, max stamina over 24k, and our recal's fully buffed. All you gotta do is be in combat, proc of one Hurricane, boom, Both of them are mag recup with a tripod, over 1800 mag recup, and stamina recup just shy of 1600. And our weapon and spell damage on our front bar, boom, 4221 weapon and spell damage, and our crit fully buffed as well. We go up to 27.6%. Anybody was saying, Hex, aren't we running Wrecking Blow? Yes, like I said earlier, we are in the hybridization patch. So even though Wrecking Blow does physical damage and cost stamina, it will still use our max mag, it will still use our spell crit, and it will use our spell damage. It doesn't matter, whatever is higher, it gets used. And our penetration might look a little low. We are only at 6,500. You have to realize we do have access to major and potential minor breach, and we also do have the powerhouse that is Balorix, and I guess everybody wants to see the Valor's fully proc damage, right? Everyone wants to see that bad boy. Balorix over 4,800 weapon and spell damage, and our penetration is just shy of 18k. With major and minor breach, that's basically 27k pen right there. Like, yeah, we're putting people down with how hard sorcerers hit this patch. And our resist fully proc on our back bar. All we gotta do is proc 1 hurricane. Spell resist over 30k, and our physical resist over 25.5k. It's a little low, yeah, but you know, we're just super tanky with war, so it doesn't really matter too much. And our crit resist is out 2082, just a beautiful number. For our attributes, I do have full points in the magic, since we are pushing the limits of max mag on this build. And for the food, simple B with sugar skulls, and the Mundus, the mage. We obviously, like I said earlier, just pushing a bunch of max mag. You could put the thief. The thief could also be really good. You probably could hit the hardest with the shadow. Not thinking about it, I might be rocking the shadow here soon. Maybe. We'll see. And obviously, we are a stage 3 vampire for one simple passive, Undeath. The lower health we are, the tankier we become. And for my race, simple Breton. Honestly, I think Breton is hands down the best open world mag race out there. We do have access to Gift of Magnus, increase our max mag by 2k. Spell Attunement increases our spell resist by over 2300, which is doubled when afflicted with burning, chilled, or concussed. And with all the sorcerers running around and mag DKs and Alexas, we're basically gonna have this up 100% uptime, and a passive on top of a passive. Just 130 mag recup. Just here you go for free. Don't need to think about it. But the best of them all, Magicka Mastery reduces the cost of all our magic abilities by 7%. It's just a very solid race. Honestly, you could debate Imperial. Imperial could honestly be your second best race on this build, since you do use basically everything mag, health, and stam on this build, and ultimates. So Imperial is honestly a strong second. High Elf could also be really strong on the build. Khajiit's always really good on almost any build these days. Dark Elf would also be really good. Anything else I'd maybe kind of stay away from. Alright, but enough of that. Let's go over the sets now. Alright, so for the sets, there's going to be two variations. The main one most people ran, and the one I kind of was trying to cook up with something. It all depends on what you want to run. So I will go over two setups. So the main one that everyone runs on the back bar is Wretched Vitality. Wretched Vitality is pretty nuts. It really is. Basically, recup, nice. Weapon and spell damage on the back bar. It's okay, not the best. Especially since nothing scales on our back bar, really. And the 5-piece. Being able to get to 390 Magicka and Stamina recovery. And that's base, by the way. What do I mean by base? You can add an extra 30% from your pots, an extra 15% for minors, passives, continuous. You can shoot this up to like 500, even 600 before. Like I've seen it. Like this thing can scale really high. Basically gives you almost infinite sustain. You basically cast one hurricane. You proc both of these because you put major resolve on yourself, which is a major buff, and you put minor expedition on yourself, minor buff. So you can basically cast that skill every 15 seconds to keep this up 100% uptime. And that's if you're not weaving crit surges or alley susses or dark conversion. It gives you see that you basically have 100% uptime on this bad boy. There's no cooldown, which is kind of nuts. The thing about this, it lets you go full offensive on everything. You don't have to worry about any more sustain. It's back barable. It's crafted. What more do you want from a set? All right, so for the monster set, we do run obviously the powerhouse that is Balorix. Balorix is the go-to monster set. Honestly, it's just beyond bonkers. Like, you hit extremely hard, because when you drop an ultimate, that's it. You're committing to the kill, and Balorix just amplifies your damage even more. Weapon and spell damage, always nice, but it's the penetration that really shines on Balorix. Because when you put an enemy to 0 armor, you're shredding them into oblivion. They're dead. Who's next? If you only have access to the base game, you could run Bloodspawn. Bloodspawn is probably your best bet. Whatever you do, do not go Engine Guardian. no Engine Guardian. The reason we don't run Engine Guardian is because two things. If we go here, Expert Summoner, if we do not have a pet active, we get 10% mag and stamina. That's a lot. Also, for those that don't know, if no pets are affected, you also heal for amount. So if we have a pet up like Engine Guardian, it gets shielded when we use this ability. And guess what? We don't get to heal no more. And that's a big no. That's a big turnoff. Next, we do run One Piece Training because this is your typical front bar, back bar setup with a Mythic. But why One Piece Training? Because we do have one slot available. So why not slot training? It gives you the most max health for a One Piece. And the Mythic we do run, I mean, you can pretty much just tell. I mean, it's the goated Death Dealer's Feet. Death Dealer's Feet is probably the best Mythic on this build. It closely rivals Markin. But on this build, like, the fact that max mag just triples down on sorcery. So not only does it give you a bigger pool to play around with, it gives you more damage because you have a bigger max mag. It gives you more tankiness because you're a sorcerer, so it gives you a bigger shield, and it also gives you more healing because your heal skills off max mag. Yeah, only sorcerers can do this stuff, man. It's pretty funny, man. So basically with this, you get up to like, basically anytime you're in combat for 2 seconds, you get a stack. Up to 30 stacks. Each stack gives you 88 max mag, stam, and health. Which fully procced after a minute gives you, I think it's like 2560 or 2650. I'm around there. It's around there. It's like 2600 resources of everything. And that's base. So we have an extra 25% from Magicka, like 10% from Daedric Summoning and passive, 8 from the Daedric Armor, so that's 18, plus our Undaunted, that's 24%. Like, yeah, you can see where it gets out of control. Plus, it also gives you that bigger health pool to play around with. Just a very solid Mythic. But no Mythic, no problem. Basically, what you could do if you really wanted to is you could put a second piece of training here, and bam, you're set to go. Obviously, it's not the best. You are losing overall resources like 1200 mag, 2600 like health and stamina. But for those that don't have the DLC, you're not completely out of luck. And for the front bar set we do run the beauty that is Crafty Alfiq. Crafty Alfiq, well, it speaks for itself. Let's look it over. 2-piece, max mag, beautiful. 3-piece, more mag. Oh, 4-piece, more mag. Okay. 5-piece, even more mag. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just pure max mag. Because for those that don't know, our damage scales with max mag, also our damage, also our tankiness, because our shields will be stronger and our healing will be stronger because of max mag. So that's why we just go full max mag on the front bar, since we do have ward on the front bar, and all our damage abilities on the front bar. It's a no-brainer. Like, it just hits the hardest. It just double dips everywhere. People that don't have the DLC, just go to the guild traders. You can probably find a few pieces there. Alright, so for the front bar, we do run a Crafty Alfiq Maul. I really do like Maul. I feel like you can maybe give Axis a shot. I feel Axis might be also really good. Maul, obviously, penetration is always nice. With an Azor Stamina enchant, good for the stand sustain, but mostly there to be able to proc Minor Breach. Because whenever you do physical damage, you have a chance to proc Thunder on the target, which puts Minor Breach, and also grants you, the person, 100 weapon spell damage. So if I hit a Joe Bob and I put Thunder on him, I get 100 weapon spell damage for that. And enchants have the highest chance of proccing a status effect. So that's why it's just beautiful sustain and damage and armor shred. Like, it's just crazy. And for the trait, I do go precise. Yes, I do go precise because I really don't have access to major prophecy or savagery on the build. That's why it's a little tricky. So I went precise. You could go sharpen. Sharpen would probably give you the most damage. Even Nernho would be pretty nasty. Precise, just nice overall. Just, you know, when you crit, because like when you crit Donnie, man, I've crit people for like 16k Donnies, 15k frags. Like, it's ridiculous. And for the back bar, we do run an Ice Staff for Wretched Vitality. Obviously, we do go on Ice Step since there's like the tankiest back bar we can set. That way we can run Elisus, so we can put Minor Brittle on the target with an Ice Staff. Also, you know, gives us block mitigation. You could go Arresto, but then you want to be able to run Elisus, but that's more for a group play. So, and obviously defending because tankiness is next to godliness. And the enchant, you could put whatever. I put a weapon and spell damage enchant here. Really good for when I try to set up the combo. If it lines up perfect, if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. And for the body, we do run the typical 3-3-1. 3 heavy, 3 light, 1 medium. A heavy Balor's Helm, heavy chest of Wretched Vitality, heavy shoulders of Balor's, a light sash of Crafty Alfiq, light gloves of Wretched Vitality, light legs of Crafty Alfiq, and medium feet of Wretched Vitality. And for the enchants, if you can, try set all the pieces. If not, you can honestly go full max mag on this build and you would be perfectly fine. So if you can, tri-stat. You can honestly debate full max mag or tri-stat. Honestly, it's up to you. Whatever's cheaper on you on the end of the day, probably go that. And for the traits, I do run the typical seal of approval hex traits. 6 impen, 1 reinforced. Yes, 6 impen, 1 reinforced. The only reinforced I have is the heavy chest of Wretched Vitality, reinforced, and the rest impen. Now this is where personal preference come into play. You want some well-fitted to roll dice more? Go ahead. You want some more heavy reinforced pieces? Go ahead. That's what I like about builds. We fit to our playstyle. And for the jewelry, we do run a Necklace of the Trainee, a Crafty Alphique ring, and obviously a Death Dealer's Feet ring because it only comes in a ring. Duh. Obviously, if you don't have this, a second piece of training would perfectly be fine. All arcane, all with weapon and spell damage. Preferably they grant mag recover, but if it grants stam recover, it wouldn't make or break the build. But yeah, full max mag basically, you know, helps their damage, helps their heal, it helps their tankiness, and full weapon and spell damage and chance because honestly, I have no sustain issues with Retro Vitality on this build. And for the food, simple, Bewitched Sugar Skulls. Gives it a bunch of max health, max mag, and max stamina. And if you ever want to hear a joke, grants you some health recovery. You could go the purple version. I think there's a few of them, like Longfish Pastry. You could go that. It would probably give you like, what, like 200-300 less resources of everything. It's not the end of the world. But honestly, Bewitched Sugar Skulls isn't that expensive, to be honest, compared to like the other gold food like Orzaka's. Orzaka's is like crazy expensive. And for the pots, simple tripods. You can either craft them yourself, or you can just use the crown tripods from the rewards. They both do the exact same thing. Tripods gives us a burst of everything: health, mag, and stamina. If you really were truly balling, you could run the minor heroism pots, basically where you sack the health, but you get minor heroism. That would probably be the strongest pots you could run, especially with Battle. The thing is, those pots are crazy expensive, so just stick to tripods. Obviously, if you are running the inner light build, then you will have to go a form of either spell damage pots or weapon damage pots. Personally, up to you, whatever you prefer. I probably go to spell damage ones. Now we're going to be going over the Torc setup, basically the skills, the gear, I guess if you want to say, and mostly what you would run with it, the stats for those wondering, and kind of give you my overall opinion on this. And obviously, mostly the stat sheets. Basically, you guys are going to come here for the stat sheets. If you guys are looking for more of a like in-depth reason why I run certain skills, obviously I have a whole skill section, setup section, stat sheet section. So if you guys have any questions, go over there first. The thing about like the Torc, that they could be a mixture of anything. I could literally have one piece chewed on, a Shattered Fate chest, and like a Valor shoulder, and like you can make some like ridiculous build. It doesn't matter with Torc of the Last Ayleid King. It's all disabled, so it doesn't matter how you run it. So all that matters is that you have a front bar ball with an Azor Stamina enchant, precise or sharpen, personally up to you. I step for Wretched Vitality, any enchant, preferably defending. And then all you want is 3 heavy, 3 light, and 1 medium. So the only thing that matters is that you make your chest heavy and your waist and hands light. The rest can be any combination since head, shoulders, legs, and feet, they have all the same armor weights. That's all that matters. Enchants, however, full tri-stat or max mag, personally up to you. 6 impen, 1 reinforce. If I am going a little too fast for you, I did go more over it over in the build section. So if you want more in-depth reasoning, it's more over there. But with this setup, it's just quickly going over it. Jewelry, all arcane, weapon and spell damage with mag recover. Simple as that. And the skills, basically all the same, just honestly the same thing right here. Bam. Same skills as before. Hardened Ward, Streak, Executioner, Frags, Wrecking Blow, Dawnbreaker, Bound Aegis, Hurricane, Crit Surge, Dark Conversion, Elisus, and Energy Overload. And for the stat sheets, let's go over the stat sheets now. So basically, I did run tripods on my build. Bam, that's all I ever ran on my build. So yeah, the first thing you might notice is our max health. You might be saying, Hex, that is way too low of max health. Only 26.6k? I know, it'll be look a little low. You have to realize, with the Torc, you're getting 15% damage mitigation. That is what really carries the Torc. That is what makes the Torc super unstoppable. Max mag only 43k, and our max damage just over 20k. Mag recov just shy of 1800, and stam recov just shy of 1600. Now our weapon and spell damage, now that's where we get at. Look at that, 5800 weapon and spell damage. And everything else is pretty much the same. 27% spell crit, penetration about the same. You honestly could debate whether going a maul on this one or a sharpen on this one because you really do lack penetration. But with precise, I'll still slapping with precise. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, even with low penetration, I'll still slapping. And resist on the back bar, pretty much going to be the same. 30k spell resist and 25.5k physical resist. So yeah, they look a little low, but honestly, I just love the Torc. I just love how tanky I am. Like, the fact that you get that much mitigation. Like, people will see your low health, they'll overcommit to you with Vampire Undead and your Torc. You become super unbelievably tanky at 30% health. So just quick rundown. If you want more details of why you started skills or whatever, go more over in the skills or the setup or the stat sheets. This is a quick rundown for my Torc fans out there. And honestly, I'm going to say it right now. The Torc is hands down. This Torc BATTLEMAGE Sorc is hands down my most favorite build in the entire game. It is. I'm not even kidding. I'm not saying this because this is the current build video. This is my favorite build of all time right now. This is literally what's probably going to get me to 5 stars on the Sorc. Alright, but enough. Let's go with the CP now. Alright, so for the blue CP, we do run Master at Arms, increases our damage done with direct damage attacks. Deadly Aim increases our damage done with single target attacks. That includes our uppercuts, our executioners, our frags. The only one that doesn't affect this would be Streak and Dawnbreaker, but we hit so hard regardless already with those abilities. Plus, this also affects our Dawnbreaker dot, which can hit really, really hard. Ironclad, which is our damage taken from direct damage attacks. You could go Duelist Rebuff. I still need to test whether both of them, to be honest. And lastly, Arcane Supremacy, because we are pushing the limits of max mag on this build. For the red CP, we do run the typical red Hex CP. Celerity increases our movement speed up to 10%. Honestly, in my opinion, the best CP in the entire game. Bastion increases the effectiveness of our damage shields and also increases our damage done to enemy shields by 15%. This is the only red CP in the entire game that actually increases our damage. Yes, so we get 15% stronger shields, and we also do 15% bonus damage to enemy shields. I don't know. I guess it made sense. Honestly, if I was in the balancing team, I'd probably just get rid of the increases damage shield strength. That's personally me, though. Next, Pain's Refuge. The more negative effects we have act on us, the tankier we become. And lastly, I do run Balanced Vitality. Increases our max health by 1400. Just gives us a little bit extra health. You could honestly go whatever you want here. If you feel like you need more stamina, you could go Survival Instincts. Arcane Alacrity, I think it's called. I butchered that. This is honestly a really sleeper CP. But you can honestly go whatever you want here. If you want some armor, free CC break. Personally up to you, the last one. And for the green CP, we do run Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, Gifted Rider, and Steed's Blessing. But the only one that truly does matter in PvP would probably be honestly, just Breakfall. But alright, cool beans, that's the build. Hope you guys did enjoy it. I'm sorry if I do sound a little nasally. I have been sick these past few days, so I hope it doesn't sound too bad in the video. Here's to hoping. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. But thank you so much for watching the build video. It really does mean a lot. Obviously, if you guys don't know, I am streaming over on Twitch, so if you guys ever want to see me play live or just have any questions, so if you guys can, I have been streaming quite a bit over there. Come check me out. But honestly, what I love about the BATTLEMAGE Sorc, it's honestly my most fun build. Honestly, it is the most fun build I've ever done in my entire game. Like, I can't get off the BATTLEMAGE Sorc. Like, I thought MagSorc was fun. The BATTLEMAGE Sorc is just a different playstyle. It just feels great. You're unbelievably tanky. You put the tonal of the Torc with this thing, oh my goodness. You are not dying. Like, you are completely tanky. So, yeah. I mean, honestly, I prefer, like, honestly, I'm going to say my favorite build is the BATTLEMAGE Sorc with the Torc. It is one of the easiest builds to set up. It hits extremely hard. I've hit 15k Donnies on people, 15k frags. Like, you hit just as hard, and you're even tankier than most people. Like, I just love it. Also, I do have some memberships where you guys can go down there and support me, where you guys can choose the first video of every month. We're going to be starting that up, guys. So if you guys ever want, if you guys ever want to vote for the first video of every month, we're going to start up that soon. Also, we get priority response to comments, so it just helps me out a lot, and I'll try to help you guys out as well. But you know the rest. Hope you guys did enjoy the build video. Like the video if you liked it. Comment your thoughts and experience with the build. Also, anything I might have missed out. What video should do next? Subscribe for more. But most importantly, stay Zerged.